Hey, what's up, guys? It's Jamie. Just doing a quick video, November 9th, 2022. I am only going to talk really quick, sort of quick, about Tesla today. And it doesn't matter if it's Tesla. I just want to share about how I've been making money selling covered calls. I had somebody recently I know that came into a good bit of money. I mean, a large amount of money. Not the $1 billion that was on Powerball, but, seven figures. And I'm not a financial advisor, but they were just asking me because they know I do some stuff, some real estate stuff, and the covered calls thing. And they're close and dear to me, right? Or not close and dear to me, but they're close to me. I've showed it to him in the past, and he says, "Hey, I want to take a little bit of my money, and I want to do that covered call thing." So I thought about it. I was like, you know what? Maybe I should just do a very quick video about that. And I'm going to use Tesla as an example. You're not restricted to Tesla, but that's what I've been using the strategy for. Now you can go and YouTube search or Google search anything you want to know about Tesla stocks, the company, the EV stuff, the PE ratios, fundamentals, technical analysis. I ain't doing any of that. Okay. I do look at some of that stuff, but all I'm doing is just having a conversation with you about something I'm doing to make money and to lose money. So it's like, I'm not trying to paint this pretty picture like it's awesome all the time. It's not. So let me get into it really quick. I've been going up to 200 shares with Tesla in the Robinhood account to swing trade. That's simple. I'll buy 100 shares. Right now, my average cost is down to 209. At one point, it was at 230 something. But I've gotten down to 209, and I'll explain how I've been averaging down. But I want to tell you what I've been doing with 100 shares for the most part. Now, if I had 200 shares at one time, I kind of flip out the two contracts. But here's how it works. I have 100 shares, and it doesn't matter what I own them for, whether I own them for 160 or 250. The only thing that's going to change is if I sell covered calls and it hits that strike price or goes above the strike price, I'm going to lose the shares. And if I own it for 190 and it sold for 220, I'd make the upside. But if I own it for 220 and I sold it for 190, I'm gonna eat the downside, right, of the difference. I'm gonna eat $3,000 of loss if I had to sell the shares, but I'd still keep the premium. But I'm never going into expiration. So I'm going to give you an example and then an illustration how it works. If I sell a covered call for January 20th, 2025, that's the one I've been doing the most. I'd sell it close to the strike price. So let's say it's 230, 240, 250. I've been collecting 5, 6, 7, 8 grand in premium. All right. So let's pretend that this receipt was $7,000. In fact, the one I just did was $7,600. So I get $7,600 from the person that says, "I want to borrow your shares, 100 shares. I'm good. Withhold them till 2025 January. I'll pay you $2,600." So I'll put the $7,600 in my pocket for now. Thank you very much. And I own the shares at 220. Right? Actually, I own them for less, but say 220. And my strike price was 250. So what happens is that there's some volatility the next day or the day after, and that $7,600 premium drops down to $7,100, and I'll actually show that. So I make the difference, which is $500. So I'm like, hey, I was selling you a contract, I'll buy it back for $7,100. There's other buyers in the market that says, yeah, I'll do that. So I collected $7,600 already. It's mine. So now I'm going to go ahead and keep a little portion of that. It's $500, and go ahead and let the other guy do it for $7,100. I'll keep that $500. Okay? And I release my shares back into the wild, right? So I have those shares now to do as I want to do. I could sell them, or I can do another contract. So I've been averaging 3 to 6 to 7%, somewhere in that range, every couple days, every week, where when I see the volatility, I'm like, oh, I want to go ahead and snatch up that money. Now, I calculated what I've been doing for the past month, and I'm basically up about $2,200, $2,300 doing that, okay? That's the positive thing of selling those covered calls and not even waiting till expiration. Some people are patient. I'm not with that. I have stocks that I can just invest and hold for 10 years to do that kind of stuff, invest. But when I'm swing trading, I'm like, how can I make a profit in the next couple of days or week and not wait a month or 6 months or a year or 2 years. And that's where I wait for the volatility to drop on the covered calls. And these are shares that really I'd prefer to own anyway, but I don't want to own them at 230 or 240. I like to get my cost down. So what I've been doing with the other 100 shares, or 25 or 50 or whatever I've been doing, but I've been going up to 100, is if I bought them, like I just did this today, my average cost was 220. And as you know, or you know, that Tesla dropped down from 220 down to 187, I believe, right around there. I was like, wow. And I looked at the oversold, the RSI, and I was like, hey, short term, I think it's oversold. I'm going to actually take a loss, right? And I'm going to sell. Well, I'm going to sell 100 shares of my of the 200 shares I have. Now, when I did that, it freed up some cash in that account. I was able to buy back my contract and make $700 on the other contract that I had, that I bought the day before. So I made 700, and now I had I wanted to keep the 100 shares. So what I did do is I bought 50 shares back at 187 from 220. So when I bought back 50 shares, it brought my cost average down to 209. Now I did lose, I did the math, about $1,600, right, to do that. But I made $2,300, so I'm still up, and I brought my cost average down. And I'm going to keep repeating this cycle, where as long as I'm staying ahead, I don't really care. That's how I look at it. As long as I can still be in the black instead of the red, however I configure it. And along the process, I keep averaging down my costs. Now, I still could have bought another 50 shares, and if I wanted to, when that popped, because it did, when it was 187 and went back up to 194, I think, I would have made the difference, right, between 187 and 194. I look at it like that because whatever I bought, whether it was 50 or 100 shares, regardless of how it averaged out, I would sell those 50 or 100 shares on the upside of the 187 to 194, for example. I would have made another $700. I was still in the red before calculating the profits and losses from those other transactions, those other spinning plates I got going on. But I said, I think it's going to go down again. I'm not sure, because I'm not sure. I don't know if it's going to go up to 205 or 215 or whatever. But I do think that it will drop down to 180 to 160 over the next few weeks, or maybe even a little longer, or maybe a month or two. So I did buy another covered call right after I collected the 700 with those other 100 shares, and I collected a premium again. And if it does drop, right, so if my share price goes down, the contract that I have, I'll also make money on. You know what I mean? So if my contract that I own for $7,000 goes down, and I put my strike price at 190 this last time, and I think I collected, I want to say $7,000 or $8,000. I don't remember exactly, but it was somewhere between $7,000 and $8,000. So if it drops below 190 over the next couple of weeks or month, which I think it will, doesn't mean it will, then what I'll do is I would buy back that contract. And for that one, I'm hoping if it does go below 190, if it gets to 180, 175 or lower, I'm going to look for a little bit more than just a couple $100 or $500 or $600. I'm going to see if I can make, $1,000 to $2,000 if possible. We'll see how it goes, but I still have the money, the availability to buy and flip another 10 to 100 shares in the process. Now I have 50, which gives me a total of 150 shares, but of those 150 shares, my dollar cost average is 209. So if it does drop to 160, and if I'm still holding those other 50 shares, then when it drops down even lower, if I haven't sold those 50 shares when it popped back up and freed up that 100 and the capital therein, then I would wait when it dropped to the 180, 185, 175, whatever it does, and I would buy more shares, and that's going to bring my my average down even lower. I don't know if it'll go below 160. I don't know if it'll go to 140, 120. I don't know that, but I do like that I think that Tesla over the next 2 to 3 to 5 years will continue to grow, and I think it will do well. So I'm really not overly concerned with that, as long as I keep kind of like, averaging down my costs and still make a profit, right? Even incurring some losses along the way, but you only really lose the money when you sell, and you only really gain the profits when you sell and you lock in the profits. So maybe I'll throw a couple things up here along the way that kind of help illustrate that. I hope that makes sense. It's kind of a lot. When I say it out loud, I understand it all, but I realize that maybe some people are confused. They're like, what is he talking about? Or how does that work? But all I'm trying to do is take that extra 10, 20, 30, 40 grand in this case, not 400,000, not 4 million, and say like, okay, can I get it to give me a return? Because sitting in the bank, it's making me absolutely nothing, right? I'm losing money. So I'm being careful, even though, like when you go out, the other day I cut my grass, I did some yard work, I got dirt, I got dirty. My shoes got dirty. I had grass on me. I had leaves everywhere. So you're going to get dirty, doing yard work and whatever work you're doing. But when you're trading stocks, you are going to incur some losses. It just is going to happen. But hopefully you're winning more than you're losing, and you have a strategy so that when you get into something, whether you're trading it for a day, for a couple days or a week or a month, you have an exit. You know where you want to get out. I always know, okay, if it gets here, I'd love to have a target, but I'm okay with getting out sooner. I can get out sooner. I don't have to make 100%, 50%. I'm okay with making 3%, 7%, right? Because if I could do that every day or two, when you add that up, it's pretty good. It's a pretty good return. Let me know what you think if you have any questions, but that's what I really wanted to talk about. I'll see you guys next video.